everyone. Welcome to Yoga with the Prescott Library. We have our mat class today. Today we will be, I would say, breaking down poses maybe a little bit more. So I'm actually sitting on my feet. You can see I'm going to rotate just a little bit while we do this. Opening up my feet, and we're actually going to do a lot of lower body stretches, working into poses that I don't normally teach, kind of on how we normally do things. So now I'm just sitting up, opening up the bottoms of my feet, which we tend to do with a chair. And I'm also stretching my legs up quite a bit. So just taking a few moments, finding this spot for yourselves. Nice big breath coming up. Stretching real tall and drop your shoulders down. Engage that lower part of your rib cage. So engaging down in here. So you might notice engaging your tummy is a little bit taller. Engaging your core has a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of feel like a C shape almost, right? Nice big breath, dropping your arms down. Just gently dropping over towards the right. Letting your left shoulder relax down. And switch sides. And gently dropping down. Rotate again, so we're stretching out the bottoms of our feet. Nice big breath up. This one always is tight for me, so if you're noticing that this is uncomfortable, figure out if it's uncomfortable because it's like really, really tight, or if it's just uncomfortable because, you know, if it's a joint issue. So if it's a joint issue, you definitely don't have to do this. You could even stay a little more upright on your knees. And switch sides. So first going up and then over. Because even if you're up here, you're really using a lot of your glutes, keeping yourself stable. And I'm going to rotate my toes back underneath again. Because I know my feet are tight. Reaching up. And over towards your left. Reaching your body back. Core in. I know so much to think about today, right? And switching sides. And just relaxing down. Rotate just a little bit so you're coming onto hands and knees. Opening up into a child's pose, stretching your low back. Stretching arms forward just a little bit more. And walking your hands back. Giving yourself a little squiggle with your toes. Nice cat stretch. Relaxing your head down. And into cow. Up. And dropping down. Feel a nice stretch in your core. And coming up. Rolling your toes underneath, doing a nice stretch back. So we did this one a little bit earlier on our hands and knees. This one's a little bit less intense on the feet. So just dropping in, sitting up a little bit taller, and dropping down, pressing your tailbone up. Nice big breath, bring your hands to your knees, and dropping down. Up, dropping in, going with your weight towards your heels, pressing your butt backwards, really pressing your tailbone. So it's like opening up. I always kind of visualize that the hips kind of open up just a little bit. And coming up. One thing I've noticed when our tummies and backs aren't working, so that's why I really focus a lot on tummy, is if my low back has some struggles, and I go to the chiropractor, but when that's not working, I notice that it affects how my tummy works and actually affects how my glutes are working. So if I feel like I don't have the strength in my glutes, that tends to be more of a low back kind of an issue, so that's why I stretch them a lot. So reaching all the way up, stretching real tall, like opening up all of your vertebrae, opening up, dropping down, taking a step first with your right leg forward, gently opening up your left, and we're just going to feel like our hips are facing the front of our mat, and doing a gentle stretch forward, feeling a nice stretch in our glutes. And my knee is actually pretty tight, so I'm actually trying to unlock the knee. So if you notice that you're kind of feeling like everything's a little off kilter, pressing sideways, put a little bend in your knee and stretching forward. Now I'm actually noticing as I look down that my heel on my back foot is too far in, so I'm going to just drop it open just a little bit, and I have a better rotation with my hips forward. So coming forward, just holding in, and coming up, and dropping in again. My knee is still kind of flexible here. I don't want it to lock totally in. Nice long hold. Bring your hands right down your tailbone. So my hands, literally I would say my thumbs are right on my tailbone. Pressing your chest forward, little softening on the front, and pressing forward. So we've modified this as a little bit more challenging because you really have to keep your balance. Up. Switching, bring your feet forward, reaching all the way up. Gentle stretch over towards your right. And over towards your left. Really focus in your tummy. I notice if my tummy doesn't work because I'm not holding it in, I notice it in the back. So that's kind of where I notice some things that way. And I pointed out, you might notice things in yourselves that you're like, hey, why is that sore? Reaching all the way up, and just gently swan dive down. Come to a flat back, and dropping down. Just relaxing your head. Come to a flat back, gently coming all the way up, hands to heart center. Nice big breath. And taking your step back, and then noticing again, like last time I'd said my back foot was too far past center. Pay attention now as we're starting. Nice big breath. And a gentle press forward. Making sure that left supporting knee is semi-soft. And coming up. And focus in so your shoulders and hips are stacked. Reaching your chest forward. See how much weight you can put on your back leg. Long stretch. stretch out to the sides. And dropping in, open up your shoulders and chest. And stretch forward. So just pressing both feet into the ground. See how much can go into the back leg. And yes, I do think it's easier said than done. And slowly coming up. Taking a step forward, reaching up. And swan dive all the way down. And nice big breath, come to a flat back. Really, again, bring that tummy in, make sure your back's supported. And dropping down. Dropping your tailbone, sitting on your heels. Coming up into a chair pose. Bring in the bottom of your rib cage. And coming up. Nice long hold. Smiling takes a little bit of that stress out of your jaws. Bring your hands to heart center. And twisting towards the right. Back towards center, and twist. Back towards center, dropping down. Bring your hands out just a little bit and slowly walk your toes out. So you're into a downward dog. Pedal your feet a little bit, opening up your hips and thighs. And into plank. Make sure your tummy's working on this one. And a downward dog. Putting your weight on your left foot, just bring your left foot a little bit more in the center. Taking your right leg out and straight up, keeping your hips facing down. And switching out, left leg up. And just dropping in, back to plank. Give yourself a little moment of rest. Reaching up, over towards your right, and switch sides, and resting down, going back into our plank, and downward dog, taking your right leg up, putting a bend in your knee, or keep it straight, either one's fine. And switch legs. And back to plank. Give yourself a rest. Big breath, reaching out to the sides, dropping your arms down. Nice big breath. I'm just grabbing my fingers behind my back and stretching a little bit, opening up our shoulders and our chest. Nice big breath. Back into our plank. tummy engaged as you do this. Right leg up and bend. You can twist open if you want to, or just keep pretty level. And switch sides. And usually if you feel like you're don't have the strength to lift up, that's usually more of a muscle not working. And to plank. Slowly coming down. Nice big breath. Reaching up. Open your knees just a little bit. Do our camel. Just gently bring your hands to your waist. The gentle lean back. And coming up. So for those of you that have maybe a big exercise ball, you can lean over that ball. That's the basic goal of it, is to really open up our chest and also get a good stretch in our spine. So many of us spend a lot of time in a forward position, whether it's computers or reading or whatever. So, nice big breath. And coming up. Now if you notice when you lean back, your glutes totally engaged. If you feel like they didn't engage, that's where you find more of a muscle imbalance. Or you might notice one engages more than the other, that kind of a thing. And this time, really visualize that ball being right by you, dropping your head back. Slowly coming up. Bring your hands down, coming into a plank pose and a downward dog. Gently walking your feet towards your hands. And a nice deep forward fold. And gently rolling hands to your knees. Coming back to our chair pose. Hands facing each other like you have a yoga brick in between your hands. Core engaged. And coming up. And dropping in again. Holding in, so this is a little bit of balance. Bring your hands to heart center. Taking your right leg up. And reaching back, modifying your warrior three, keeping your hips facing the floor. And slowly coming back to chair. Left leg up and back. Again, keeping your hips facing the floor. And dropping back in. Hands to heart center. So we're going to modify a little bit deeper. Right leg up and back. Now if you have your chair handy, you know it's always there. I keep mine always handy. Sometimes it's handier. So stay in warrior three. Doing a small rotation open. And slowly coming in. Working your glutes on this one. Back, gentle opener, in. Do you feel your glutes on fire? Hope so. That's the goal, right? Engage that tummy before you lift your leg. Now, from warrior 3, we're modifying into a half moon, which is what the hip opener is. If you've got the space, grab your chair. If you can go down a little bit, definitely opening up, keeping your legs straight, shoulders towards the floor or on a yoga brick. And just gently bring your leg down. Nice big breath. Back to heart center. Nice big breath. Warrior 3, hip opener. And dropping in. And dropping down. Back into our chair pose. And coming up. My favorite glutes already nice and warm. Or maybe they're on fire. I am not sure. We've really worked them a lot just by doing some of modifying of our breaking down our poses. Coming back into warrior 3. But keep it straight, hips and shoulders towards the floor. And coming back into our chair pose, holding up. And dropping in, slowly opening up. Nice big breath. Widening our feet to the width of our mat. Nice big breath. Holding your arms out. Gentle stretch over towards your right. Keeping your hips pretty straight. And opening. Twisting to the left. Nice big breath and dropping in. Letting your body relax. Bring your hands to your knees. Bend your knees, slowly pressing up. Working back in. Coming into our chair pose, taking your left leg over your knee, deep in the stretch. So you can have your hands on your hips, have them on front or up. Having it up makes it a little more challenging for balance. And try to put your glutes facing, more stretching back. So it's not a twist in one direction or the other. Resting down. Dropping in. Whenever I do this pose, this is where I notice that I have, some tighter spots in my hips and my low back. So again, drop in if you need a little bit of a deeper forward pose. And slowly coming forward. Bring your hands forward just a little bit, walking out into our downward dog. Coming back into plank. Dropping your left knee down and opening up. So side plank, honestly, for me is just as much of a challenge as a full side plank, because you're totally balancing on one leg, keeping your body wide open. So opening up your leg if you have the space. You'll notice a little bit of tightness maybe. Holding in. Rotation. Back to plank. Dropping down. Just kind of find your space. I'm doing this a little bit slowly, just so you can slowly bring your body in for a balance. Keeping your balance on this one's tricky, but it really works a lot of our lower body. Coming back around, open your knees up into a child's pose. Nice big breath, walking your hands up. Doing a gentle sit on your knees. Might feel a little bit better. Notice that you have a little bit more space to work with. Bring your hands and feet up, so pressing your feet in. Your feet probably are good and warm by now. So this is just really stretching out a lot of work, giving us our balance. Dropping down in. And working on to your back. We're going to be in more of a seated position. So seated down, right leg up. Nice big breath. Doing a gentle twist. And coming around, twisting towards your left. Nice big breath. So this pose is kind of an interesting one because we're really doing a lot of long stretches. If you have the space, grab your toes. Do your best to keep a more upright body position. And dropping down in. So you probably just felt a nice stretch in your hamstrings and kind of into your glutes. Switching sides. Sitting up real tall. And that's always my tighter spot for some things, and my other one's tighter in different spots for other things. So just gently opening in, twisting towards your left. And nice big breath coming around. I'm actually going to rotate my leg over and get a deeper stretch on my hip because I'm noticing that's a little bit stiff, a little bit higher up. And nice big breath coming forward. So just sitting up real tall again. So you can experiment. And if going up all the way is obviously not in your ballpark. Just going forward will still give you a really good stretch. Holding in. Relaxing down. Bring your feet, bottom of your feet together. Gently bring your knees together and dropping in, a little bit of a cat stretch. And coming up. And coming up. Coming onto your back. Just gently, little side to side roll. Holding onto your left leg, right leg up real high. Just a gentle drop. I'm about, what, 2/3 of the way down, holding in. And gently coming up. Holding in. Reaching up real tall. Slowly dropping all the way, about that 2/3 of the way down. And coming in. Dropping your feet down. Nice big breath. We'll come into a bridge and slowly kind of engage your glutes, pressing up, hips up towards the sky. Letting your knees feel like they're pretty straight. You don't want your knees to go out and lose support. Holding in. Now, wheel has a ton of modifications, which, regular wheel I think could be challenging enough if you're doing it all correctly, holding your core correctly, working your glutes. Nice big breath. Pressing your tailbone out. See if you can press your shoulder blades a little bit closer together. Holding in. Press your body up a little bit higher. Watch your knees. Slowly bring your shoulders out. And just letting your hips rock a little bit side to side. You can bring your knees up if you need a little bit of a deeper stretch. Nice big breath. Just holding in. And with this next bridge, nice big breath, engaging everything in. You can experiment with one leg out, so rotate your right leg in, left leg out. So if you feel wobbly, that would be pretty normal. Switch legs. And relax down. I will tell you that is not a power pose for me. Not yet anyway. Nice big breath, letting your knees drop open. Letting your pelvis get a stretch and relaxing your tailbone. A few nice big breaths. Gently bring your knees together. Nice big breath. Pressing back up into our bridge pose. Taking your left leg out. Trying to keep your hips up real high. And switch. And relaxing down. Nice big breath once more. Pressing up. Right leg out. Left leg out, sorry. Try to keep your glutes high. Switch sides. Dropping in. So until I was getting tired, I was having a hard time keeping my legs up. Letting your knees drop open, feet at the bottom together. Nice, gentle, big breath in and out. Come over to one side and gently press yourself up. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.